All right, this problem right here, we are trying to get the x by itself. So we have to train our brain to say, well, what's on the same side as the x? And that's a 1/3. So we have to get rid of the 1/3 because, again, we are trying to get the x by itself. Now, the 1/3 is written right next to the x. That means multiplying. So we have to get rid of multiplying by 1/3. Now, in normal situations, we would say what's the opposite of multiplying is dividing. But in this situation, we have to say the opposite of multiplying is multiplying, but by its reciprocal. So we are going to multiply by its reciprocal. And once we multiply by the reciprocal to both sides, we have 8 times 3 over 1, which is 8 times 3, is 24. So now we have the x all by itself, so x equals 24 is our answer. Number 2, we are trying to get the x by itself, so we have to look and say, well, what's on the same side as the equal sign with the x? And all we have over here is a 5. To get rid of a positive 5 or adding 5, we have to do the opposite. And the opposite of a positive 5 or adding 5 would be subtracting 5 to both sides of the equal sign. Well, adding 5 and subtracting 5 cancel each other out. I bring my positive x straight down. I bring my equal sign straight down. And on the right-hand side, I get 7.7. The x is all by itself, so we are finished. All right, number 3. We have to get the x by itself, so let's first train our brains to say, well, what's on the same side as the x? Well, I have this 2 right here that's written right next to the x, which means that 2 is multiplying the x. This 9 over here is actually being subtracted. And according to the reverse order of operations, we do not get rid of what's being multiplied first. We get rid of what's being added and subtracted. So on this one, between the 2 and the 9, we have to get rid of the 9. So therefore, the opposite of subtracting 9 is adding 9 to both sides. So I bring my 2x straight down, I bring my equal sign straight down, and on the right-hand side, I get 15. Now we have to keep going because our x is not by itself. So again, we have to ask, what's on the same side as our x? A 2. That 2 is multiplying. What's the opposite of multiplying by a 2? Dividing by 2. So on the left-hand side, our 2's cancel out. Bring our x straight down, bring our equal sign straight down, and I get 7.5. Well, my x is all by itself, so we are finished. All right, with problem number 4 here. I am hoping that you see like terms on both sides of the equal sign. We have like terms, positive 2x, positive 3x. We have like terms, positive 12 and negative 1. Now, we always like to get our like terms together first. What I'm going to try to help you guys understand is we want to get the like terms with variables together first. So what I'm looking at now is the 2x and the 3x. Since they're on different sides of the equal sign, I have to use an upside down t to get one to the other. Now what I'm going to say next is not a mathematical rule. This is just a helpful hint. When you're looking at the two variables, trying to get one to the other, it's easier if you bring the smaller variable to the larger variable. So when I have 2x and 3x, I'm looking at the 2x because it's smaller. So then I just say, well, what's the opposite of adding 2x or positive 2x? A negative 2x. And if I do that to the left side, I have to do it to the right side. So on the left, my 2x's cancel out. I bring my 12 straight down. I bring my equal sign straight down. On the right-hand side, 3x minus 2x is 1x, but I don't have to write the 1 in front of the x. I can just leave it, and everybody will understand that's invisible in front of it. And I'm going to bring down my negative 1 over on the far right. Now again, we are still trying to get that x all by itself. So I'm looking and saying, well, what's on the same side as my x? A minus 1. So how do we get rid of a minus 1 or subtracting 1? By adding 1 to both sides. So I bring my equal sign straight down, my x straight down, and on the left-hand side, 12 plus 1 is 13. The x is by itself, so we are finished. All right, with this problem, we want to do the distributive property first. So what's on the outside of the parentheses is a 2. So we're going to multiply that to both things on the inside. So 2 times 3x is 6x. Now notice I didn't put a plus sign afterwards because I don't know if the next term that I'm going to write is positive or negative. Okay, that's a habit we need to break that I see a lot of kids do. So I'm going to continue on with the distributive property up here. 2 times positive 1 is a positive 2. So now I'm going to come down here and write my positive 2 or plus 2. Okay? By waiting, that helps us avoid double signs, and when you put double signs, it's only going to confuse you later on. Now on the right-hand side, I'm going to bring my equal sign down and my 32. All right, now from here, we are trying to get our x by itself. So we're looking and saying, what's on the same side as the x? A 6. That's written right next to the x, which means multiplying. So that's multiplying by 6. Over here, the 2 is adding on to the x. Now remember, according to the reverse order of operations, we are trying to get rid of anything that's being added or subtracted to the variable first. So that's why we're going to have to get rid of the 2 and not the 6 first. The opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2. So I bring my 6x straight down, I bring my equal sign straight down, and 32 minus 2 is 30. All right, now again, from here, we have to keep going until our x is all by itself. The one thing that is on the same side as the x is that 6. And again, since it's written right next to the x, that means multiplying. So all we have to do is the opposite of multiplying by 6 is dividing both sides by 6. So on the left-hand side, my 6's cancel. I bring my x straight down, bring my equal sign straight down, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. All right, on number 2 here, we have the distributive property on both sides of the equal sign, so I'm going to do that first. 8 times x is 8x, and again, I'm not bringing down my addition symbol yet because I don't know if the next term is positive or negative. So then I go up here and I distribute the 8 times a positive 3, and 8 times positive 3 is positive 24. Bring my equal sign down. On the right-hand side, 4 times 2x is 8x, and then 4 times positive 6 is positive 24. All right, now from here, I always suggest getting your like terms with variables together first. To make things easier, I always suggest bringing the smaller variable to the larger variable, except there is no smaller or larger. They're both positive 8x. That is a red flag that something weird is going to happen with this answer. So let's keep going. Since it doesn't matter which one is smaller or larger, I'm going to choose the one on the left. The opposite of positive 8x is negative 8x. Now, on the left-hand side, positive 8x and negative 8x cancels out. On the right-hand side, positive 8x and negative 8x cancels out. So, from now on, if I write an x anywhere, I am now wrong. Okay, all the x's are gone. I cannot write any more x's. So I'm just going to bring down what I have. On the left-hand side, a positive 24. Bring down my equal sign. And on the right-hand side, a positive 24. That is not my answer. That helps me understand what my answer is. And true statements means your answer is infinite solutions. All right, on number 3, we have the distributive property on both sides. So 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times positive 1 is positive 6. Then I break down my equal sign. On the right-hand side, 3 times 4x is also 12x. 3 times 5 is positive 15. All right, from here, since we have like terms with variables on different sides, I want to get them together first. I always suggest to bring the smaller one to the larger one. But again, there is no smaller or larger variable. They're both positive 12x. So that's our red flag that something weird is going to happen. So since it doesn't matter which one to bring over, I'm just going to start on the left and say the opposite of positive 12x is negative 12x, or subtracting 12x. On the left, positive 12x and negative 12x cancels. On the right, positive 12x and negative 12x cancels. So from here, if I write an x anywhere, I am considered wrong. They have all canceled out. There are no more x's. So I'm just going to bring down what's left. On the left-hand side, I have a positive 6. Bring down my equal sign. And on the right-hand side, I have a positive 15. Now, on the last problem, we got a true statement, which meant all the numbers were our solutions. This one is a false statement. False statement means none of the solutions are your answers. There's not a single number out there that'll work for this one. So this is no solutions. All right, with problem number 5 here, I see the distributive property on the far left-hand side. So I'm going to do that first. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Now, I'm just going to bring everything else down because I'm not going to do anything with it yet. Okay, now from here, I see a lot of like terms. For instance, on the left-hand side, do you guys see negative 15 and positive 10? Well, they're on the same side, so I don't need an upside down t to get them together. I can just put them together where they're at. On the right-hand side, I see like terms 20x and negative 10x. Again, they're on the same side, so I don't need an upside down t to get them together. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to bring down my 10x. My negative 15 and my positive 10, I'm going to put those two like terms together and get negative 5. Bring down my equal sign. My 20x and my negative 10x are like terms. I'm going to put them together and get 10x and bring down my minus 5. All right, now from here, I have like terms again, 10x and negative 5 and negative 5. I like to get my like terms with variables together first. Now, I always like to bring the smaller variable to the larger one. That's not a rule, it just makes it easier. But there is no smaller, there is no larger. So again, that's a red flag that we're either going to get infinite many solutions or no solutions. So since it doesn't matter which one I bring over, I just go with the one on the left. The opposite of positive 10x is negative 10x, and on the left-hand side they cancel out. On the right-hand side they cancel out. And again, all my x's have canceled out. I cannot write an x anymore. If I do, it would be considered wrong. So on the left-hand side, I have a negative 5 left. Bring down my equal sign. On the right-hand side, I have a negative 5 left. So now this is not my answer. This just tells me which answer it is. Negative 5 does equal negative 5. That is a true statement. So my answer is infinite solutions. All right, with number 4, again, distributive property on the right-hand side. So I'm going to bring down the negative 44 equals. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. Now again, notice I'm not bringing down the addition symbol because I don't know if the next one is positive or negative. Please get in that habit also. Negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. So that's why I didn't bring down the addition symbol, because then I would have plus negative 4, and we don't want double symbols. All right, from here, we have to get the x by itself. So we're looking and we're saying, well, what's on the same side as the x? I have a negative 10 that is written right next to the x, which means that negative 10 is multiplying. I have a minus 4 over here, which means subtracting. We always try to get what's being added or subtracted first. Try to get rid of that first. So that tells me I have to get rid of the subtracting 4. The opposite of subtracting 4 would be adding 4 to both sides. So on the left-hand side, I get negative 40. Bring down my equal sign. On the right-hand side, I'm just going to bring down my negative 10x. Now again, we have to keep going until the x is all by itself. So now I'm just looking and saying, well, what's on the same side as the x? Negative 10. That negative 10 is multiplying. The opposite of multiplying by negative 10 is dividing by negative 10. So on the right-hand side, I get the x all by itself, bring my equal sign straight down, and on the left-hand side, negative 40 divided by negative 10 is positive 4. So this one, I got one solution, and that solution is 4.